Well guys, welcome to cold Utah. I wasn't anticipating making the second video with the new Cherokee 235 today, but circumstances have changed. We got a slight problem because we noticed the oil was low a little this morning when we were leaving. It likes around 9 quarts and it was at 7.5. Nothing out of the ordinary, so we added 1.5 quarts and we said, okay, you know, we'll check it at the next stop. Sure enough, taking off, it was okay. Temperatures were all good, so all is well. Toward the end of the flight, the oil temperature was increasing just a little bit, just a hair, nothing much, but it was a noticeable change. So I'm like, I watched it, and then oil pressure, of course, because the oil's much hotter and thinner, it dropped just a hair, but still like, 50 PSI, really good level, nothing dramatic. So I'm like, okay, well, let's land and I'll take a look. And I'm like, what is going on? The temperature, outside air temperature is very cold. So why is it halfway between 180 and the red line? That doesn't make sense. It should be around 180 according to my research, and something is not quite right. But then again, it's just one old analog gauge. So I'm like, well, maybe it's not the most accurate thing, but here we are on the ground. There's oil already pouring out. And let's just say after we removed the cowling, it took about 5 seconds to realize what the problem was. Roll the clip. Something's leaking pretty good. Oh shoot, that's a smoking gun. The whole firewall's covered. What? Oh my goodness, look at this oil cooler. It must have a hole. Everybody commented this saying, I've never had a spin on oil filter failure, but I've had a crack oil cooler. Sure enough, look, it's completely wet at the bottom. Can we see? Oh yeah, look at that, it's got like 4 drips ready to go. And that would make complete sense why oil was hotter than it should be and why it was lower than it should be. Okay, just a few minutes later, Christian made some calls to see if we had the chance of finding a mechanic on this field, and it looks like one is available and actually coming right now.
Yes, exactly. I wanted to get it right after this because it's hard to find a shop that's not a month out in general, and it sounds like they can take a look at it pretty much right away, and might even have one in stock, but we're probably going to want to do some upgraded one. But either way, they can take it, and that means free parking perhaps.
You guys might not have caught this if you didn't see the JR Garage video. We are here in Utah because we got to pick up that new truck like I mentioned, so we were going to leave it here anyway, so it actually kind of works out that it's broken here. This is a great place for it to break down. Just a little earlier, that would have maybe screwed up the plans, but we are lucky that we noticed it now in Utah, where we have to depart from anyway. Jay's flying out commercial, he's got to be in Nashville tonight, so it oddly all works. We're not very upset about this. And as a benefit to the repair, we're gonna upgrade the oil cooler at the same time. Apparently you can get wider ones that do more cooling that help in those hotter months, especially in Arizona. I'm not sure how much these cost, but it looks pretty easy to put in. I mean, it's got 4 like bolts right there, and then this hooks on. Obviously this is the oil line. I'll go to work cleaning up this absolute disaster. Oh my gosh, I hate cleaning engine bays. No, I love cleaning engine bays. I just hate cleaning them when they're horribly oily or grimy, or something that's gonna take me 5 hours, which this one probably will, but everything else looks really nice. We've never seen it with the cowlings off.
Yeah, exactly. It really could have been worse is what I'm thinking. Seeing that much oil, it's either something real easy leaking or it's something real bad.
Okay guys, I can't believe this. We're leaving the Cherokee. We already found a shop, super great guys, and now we are Ubering to the airport. Bam, and just like that, 2 weeks later, guys, you joined me back in Salt Lake City, Utah here. Just landed off that 737, and now we are swapping for the Cherokee 235. Yes, you guys got that right. Cornerstone Aviation got all the repairs done, and they said the plane is ready for pickup. They actually had the plane all done over a week ago. It's just the weather has been absolute garbage. So we had to push it off until today is the first nice sunny day, and it's gonna be a really, really fun day. So obviously we're gonna check out the work that they did, see the old oil cooler. As you all saw a few minutes ago in this video, Christian and I were pretty sure it was a crack in the oil cooler, and sure enough, they confirmed that.
Welcome to Salt Lake City. I'm Mayor.
So they proceeded to order the part. They got it within a few days, and before you know it, the plane was all fixed up, ready to go. We ended up saving a ton of money. I'll explain when we get to the plane. It could have easily been like $2,000 more. I don't know what it is yet, so I'll go over the bill when we get there, and then hopefully it's just warm enough where the airplane will want to start, because if it's too cold, you obviously can't start a piston engine if it hasn't been preheated. So once it warms up a little and some of these clouds clear up, Sean and I will be blasting off to Billings, Montana. Actually, I have to go pick up another Rolex watch, so adding a watch to the collection, and I figured, you know what, why not take the Cherokee, put some time on it, and build some time. Sean's obviously a CFI, so I get to log this time, so I'm super excited between today and tomorrow to log like 11 hours of cross-country time. It's gonna be a lot of flying. 3 hours to Billings, and then Billings to Arizona tomorrow is going to be like 8 hours, 9 hours. But I am happy because that's a lot of time going in my logbook, and it's crazy to think, I mean, you need 40 hours minimum, and if I could do like 12 hours in one 24-hour period, that would be pretty crazy awesome. That's an aviation dog toy for you. Okay guys, we made it to the shop. Here are the logbooks, the key, and the old faulty oil cooler.
Hard to see. Okay, oh yeah, right here. So I boxed that with a Sharpie. And then if you put a pressure test of this, you'll see like all the
starting to leak out. Wow.
Yeah, so there's a crack right here on one of the fins.
Here it's a pretty common issue. I'm sure you've run into it before, and it's dangerous too if you don't catch it quick. My goodness. Alrighty, we're gonna add 1 more quart of oil. Ooh, it's cold. Get up to 10 quarts. Little trick, you just pour it onto the dipstick and then it goes right down in the hole. No need for a funnel. Gosh, look how thick that is. And this is multi-weight 2050. This oil is the reason we can go flying this morning. If we had straight 50 grade, like Shell 100 or something, that's engine damage right there. This is already pushing it, but given that's a multi-grade, the engine's gonna be a lot happier on this cold morning. Well, let's go for a first start and I'll tell you everything that was done. All right, going in with the prime, manual prime.
Manual labor over here.
Yeah, it actually takes a lot of force.
Beacon's on.
Full mixture.
Put the mixture up. Give it a crack just a tad. Clear. How about that?
Wow.
All right. See you later, guys.
All right, time to fuel it up. We're filling it up here at the CB SkyShare self-serve. Our good friends over here always have a fair price. Alrighty, all fueled up. It is cold. And we're just going over the route, do a few rotations over the field. So I did try to get the camera down into the cowling to show the new bright shiny oil filter, but oil cooler. But with this cowling setup, it's not like the Bonanza where you can expose the full engine. I really don't like this cowling. It takes forever to get on and off. Man, it really makes you appreciate the Bonanza, how you can get full engine access with those 2 panels. So I can't really show you much. I'll show you later at the end of this video when we get back to Arizona. They did a bunch of ground runs, doesn't leak at all. Of course, that's the culprit. I mean, it's a smoking gun. They pressure tested the old one. Everything matches up. Makes sense why our oil temp was getting high, because clearly the oil wasn't circulating through the oil cooler. So no duh, it's gonna get hot. So today, if it remains at like 180 roughly on a cold day like today, then we know we're in the clear. We'll do a few orbits, make sure it's good to go, and then we'll head through the pass over there to better weather on our way to Billings. While Sean's pulling up the route, I guess I have a few more minutes to, oh yeah, you haven't said hi to the vlog yet, so.
I have not.
I woke up Sean at 4 a.m. to come with me for this thing, so.
It's bright and early, but we're gonna make it happen. It's a good airplane.
Like I was saying, we saved a lot of money. Let me explain. The oil cooler that came off of the plane, there was something weird about it where to buy that exact same model and part number, the cooler was $2,000. When they called with that news, I'm like, oh, what? But they said they had some good news and that the factory original for this engine with a slightly better upgraded design, still the same dimensional size and configuration. What the heck is that?
It's a 180. Jeez, it's so loud.
So it has the same oil line mounts. So it's an easy plug and play, requires no custom fabrication, and best of all, it's a fairly cheap part. So the part was only 450 bucks, plus I think an hour or 2 worth of labor to put it in and do all the work and do the oil change. So that was music to my ears. So I have to give them a huge shout out as well. Cornerstone Aviation, hit them up if you're at Ogden for maintenance work, and I think they have a flight school and a bunch of other stuff. So thank you guys. Here we go in just a minute. Let's go hit the skies.
So for those of you guys watching at home, this airplane actually does not have your typical toe brakes like you have in every other GA airplane. This actually has a pull brake, almost like a car parking brake, and that's your only means of slowing the plane down. So it's honestly kind of weird to get used to, but actually it works pretty well.
A little weird, a little quirky.
Definitely.
Of course, you got the manual flaps too, but this plane
like.
just screams lightweight. Weighs 1,425 pounds or whatever, and the useful load is 1,450 pounds. It can carry more than it weighs.
I think the only other airplane that can do that is the DC-8.
This thing will fit anything you can put in it. 4 big dudes and a bunch of bags, and you still won't even hit it with full fuel. It's crazy.
Okay, before takeoff checklist. Cabin door is closed and locked. Flight controls. I'm up. I'm down. That's up. That's down. Okay, fuel selector valve. We're going to stay on the left for takeoff. Flaps are up. Elevator trim is set. It is neutral. I always thought these were weird. That's neutral.
Another quirky thing about the plane.
Fixtures coming full rich for the run-up. Parking brake is set. Okay, checking mags.
Okay.
Ground on the left. Good
80,
drop.
90.
Both. Ground on the right. About the same?
Yeah, 80.
Back to both. Looks great. Okay, carb heat's coming on. Looking for a drop. We've got the drop.
Yeah.
Back in. Okay, we're going to turn on the fuel pump. We're going to check for pressure here.
Any ops?
We do have an increase in fuel pressure. That's coming off. Ammeter. Generator amps. We are charging.
Of course, these two are the important ones, especially for this flight. Oil pressure and oil temp looks great, so clearly the new part's doing its job.
Looking real good. Okay, stable and erect, 75 field elevation. That's reading 0. Turn coordinator. We are reading known headings.
Oh yeah, idle check, yeah. Yeah, do that. Let's see. Yeah, it's never died.
She runs.
All right, guys, exciting stuff.
Let's go have some fun. So yeah, we're going to do just a couple laps in the pattern here, making sure that the engine is running how we want it to, and then we'll depart the area to the north and start making our way towards Billings. All right, so just to kind of pre-brief this takeoff here. So if anything were to happen before 65, I'm going to pull the power to idle. We're just going to stop on the runway if I don't like what I see. If we're above 65 in the air, if we've got runway remaining, we'll just set it back down onto the runway, apply the brakes. And if we don't have runway remaining, and if we have some sort of engine failure or whatever, we're just going to find the nearest suitable spot to land. We're going to have a nice big highway ahead of us that we can try to land on. If not, we'll take 30 degrees of our nose of the best available landing spot. If we're in the pattern, we'll just declare an emergency, bring it back right to runway 17. Questions?
Yeah, under 1,000, 30 degrees on either side, over 1,000, pull 180.
Exactly, then we can do that. They call it the impossible turn for a reason. Line up and wait, 17, 86904 Whiskey.
Piper Cherokee, 94 Whiskey, runway 17 cleared for takeoff. Left turn to the east is approved.
Left turn into the east approved, 17 clear for takeoff, 86904 Whiskey. Okay, let's do it.
Here we go. Yeah, oil temp's still staying right at 180. Pressure's great. I'm happy with all this.
Perfect. Hi Tower, 86904 Whiskey. Everything checks out for us. We're going to go and make a eastbound or a northeastbound departure.
Cherokee 904 Whiskey, roger. Northeastbound approved. Proceed on course and no altitude restriction northbound.
All right, on course and no altitude restriction. 904 Whiskey. Thank you.
Yep. Holy crap,
wow.
That's close.
Will you be coming back here today?
Negative. We're going to be going to Billings, so we'll see you later. 904 Whiskey.
904 Whiskey, ready. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, guys, we're taking I forgot what this pass is called, but
some sort of pass.
It's one of the passes right by Ogden that was recommended, and sure enough, the weather's looking great ahead, and there's a road below us. All right, guys, made up to 11.5. Now comes one of my favorite things to do, and that is leaning it out. Engine management. Installed a new used EGT gauge. That's another thing that wasn't working on the first flight picking this plane up, and I'm like, dang it, that gives me no tools to properly lean this thing. It just makes life a lot easier when you have an EGT gauge. I had it sitting on the shelf. I said, hey guys, it's the same make, model, everything. Toss it in and let's see if it works. Looks like it was just the gauge that was bad. So we're gonna start to lean it out here until we lose just a hair of power. That means we're on the lean side of peak. We'll see if this gauge works properly. So we'll go nice and slow. Yep, it's increasing. And we're gonna watch for it to peak, and then we're gonna reset the red line to peak.
There's the drop. It's a little bit running rough.
Yeah, so let's add just a little bit.
I think we're sitting pretty.
Yeah, That should work. These engines aren't the happiest campers, Lena peaks. If it was an injected engine with gamies, you could easily get pretty darn Lena peak before it starts to run ever so slightly missing. But these kind of engines in particular, usually right as you pass peak or right around peak, you start to feel it a little bit. So that's a good level to keep it at. It's happy here. This is maybe just a hair lean of peak or maybe right around peak, but that's not a problem because we're so high up. There's no red box, there's no danger zone. If you were low, pushing a ton of power, running at peak is idiotic, especially like 50 rich at peak. That's just the worst place to be at for your engine. But when you're this high up, you don't have to worry. You're doing no harm no matter where you are. What a difference compared to, you know, the last flight. It's cut and dry. Before, oil temp was roughly 200, and now it's 170.
170, yeah. Looks really good.
Night and day. Like, clearly that solved our problem. And we have a little increase in oil pressure because there's no longer a crack in our oil system. Well, guys, we're just going east of the Tetons and stuff. It would be so fun to just rip right next to the Tetons and go over Yellowstone, but not in the winter
today.
Not in the winter with all this weather over there. Let's go around to the east and then shoot up straight to Billings.
We're looking for flight following to Billings.
86, Center for Whiskey, Roger, squawk 3113.
3113, 94 Whiskey.
Cherokee 94 Whiskey, thank you, radar contact. Maintain VFR of the Logan altimeter 3039er.
VFR 3039er, 94 Whiskey, thank you. Look at that view, the Grand Tetons over there. Oh my gosh. Absolutely gorgeous. So when there was no wind, we were averaging about 125, 127 knots with no winds. That's what this plane's going to true out at, high and leaned out like this. So we're only burning like 11 gallons an hour. It's pretty good numbers out of Cherokee 235. I've been doing a ton of radio calls and I've been on the controls for most of the time. Sean just took over when I whipped out the camera, so it's looking good. Anything else? Good to be back in the Cherokee?
It's actually, yeah, it's really nice. I missed flying the low wing.
Cherokees you flew had a little bit less horsepower though.
A little
so it's
less.
like a Cherokee on steroids.
Yep, I've flown the Cherokee mainly 140s and 180s, so.
Oh, 140. Okay guys, we're about 20 minutes out from Billings now, and I had the idea, I'm like, you know what, Sean, can we do a practice ILS to make sure all of this works? You know, we've never tested this, so why not test it on a clear day?
Yeah.
Check it out, right?
Just gonna start plugging things in. We've already asked Approach to do the practice approach into Billings. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna find the localizer frequency on our approach plate, 111.5. So we're gonna dial that into our nav1 here. And we're going to switch that to active. Our approach course is going to be 282. So what we need to do is we need to go over to our BOR receiver. We're going to dial in 282 right about there. Make sure that that goes alive once we get a little bit closer. But for now, we're just going to be proceeding pretty much towards that initial approach fix. And we're just going to follow the localizer and the glide slope all the way in.
Alrighty, day 2. Let's get it. Billing stop was successful. We got the new watch from our friends over at Goldsmith Gallery Jewelers. Hooking it up. I'll show you in a minute, but it's way too cold, so we're hopping in, starting up, and then we're getting out of here. Okay, how much oil is in it? Hopefully at least 8 or 9. 9. Okay, perfect. It likes being around 9. Not too much more. It'll just kind of go out the bottom. So I think we'll leave it at 9 and see if it's at 9 in Grand Junction. Clearly that fixed the problem because we lost like 3 quarts within a short flight last time with the crack in the oil coolers. Oh yeah, and just simply we can look at the belly and the ground. Yeah, no more oil all over the ground. Yep, no more oil dripping down the belly. It still needs a good detail, that's for sure. But we'll do that when we get home to warm Arizona. Let's go, I'm freezing. Probably not the best day to wear thin shorts. Okay. And then we'll open it about 1/4 of an inch. Clear. 3, 2, 1. Fires right up.
Ground Cherokee 86904 Whiskey at Edwards Jet Center. with Tango, ready for taxi for a southwest departure looking for.
Cherokee 8694 Whiskey Billings, ground runway 28 right, taxi via Alpha. What's your initial on-course heading?
28 right via Alpha. That heading's looking like about 220 until we're out of the Charlie, 94 Whiskey.
We already got our taxi instructions, so we can start going.
Oh, okay, right.
Cherokee 94 Whiskey, squawk 0423.
0423, 94 Whiskey.
Okay, so we go ahead and pull that brake up, and we can push it all the way in. Brakes are off, we're ready to go.
Brakes
We're
off.
clear right.
Easing a little gas, clear left.
Slightly uphill, so we'll need a little gas to get her going.
There we go.
Beautiful. Okay, 28 right via Alpha.
Alpha's just this one that runs.
Yes, sir. Just a straight shot all the way down. Okay, we're on the right main for takeoff.
We'll run up down here and
Arizona, here we come.
good to go. Via Grand Junction, guys. Don't know if I mentioned that, but that's where we're going first for some cheap fuel. Good halfway spot, get some lunch.
Tower's coming up next. That's going to be 127.2. That's in standby.
Okay, it's ready to go. Pretty easy to steer, and the brake's actually not that hard.
And it prevents you from having asymmetric brake deployment.
I was about to say, and you know you're not riding the brakes.
Yep.
Okay, cabin doors.
Closed and locked.
Yep, flight controls. There we go.
Okay,
Down, up, balance. Fuel selector valve, full tank, main tank, flaps up. Check, elevator and rotor trim.
Yep, neutral.
Well, good to go. Mixture full rich. Throttle 1800, about 80 or so. Same, perfect. Carb heat.
Getting hotter air. It's going to be less dense. Dropping RPM. We got it.
All right, electric fuel pump on. Tower Cherokee 86994 Whiskey. Run up complete. Ready to go.
Cherokee 8694 Whiskey Billings, start climb course, runway 28 right, clear for takeoff 121011.
28 right, clear for takeoff.
On course.
On course, 94 Whiskey.
Okay, we can go landing light on. Fuel pump's on.
Fuel pump on, yep.
We're clear on final. We're cleared on the runway.
Ready to go.
Let's rock.
So wind coming out of our left.
Yep, so I'm going to point the yoke to the left here.
Crosswind correction.
Yes, sir. Power set. There's Miss Green. She's ready to fly.
Cherokee 94 Whiskey, contact departure, we'll see you.
Over departure, 94 Whiskey. See ya.
Okay guys, a little log update. We're here at 11,500 feet, and we look down at our ground speed, and we're seeing like 145, 146, 147 knots. I'm like, Sean, how far is it showing to Scottsdale direct? And
It's like 4 hours and 50 minutes from here, so it's like we've got plenty of fuel. Let's just go to Scottsdale. We don't need to stop in Grand Junction.
which is crazy, because Sean and I are like, wow, that's the entire like height of the United States.
Yeah. And we're still going to have fuel left over
Yeah,
once we land.
In one single flight, in a little Cherokee.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're projecting possibly 20 gallons of fuel still when we land. That's getting a lot more out of this little Cherokee than we bargained for. That's the plan as of now. We have plenty of outs. There's plenty of airports. The weather is perfect.
Yeah, we couldn't ask for a better day to do this. We've got all sorts of airports on our route of flight. We're going to be passing over Moab and then pretty much going down to Flagstaff direct and then to Scottsdale.
In hindsight, maybe we should have had breakfast, because now we're skipping lunch, but oh well.
All right.
We got a muffin in the back. Uncle Greg packed a muffin. So, all right, guys, so there's your update, but we're going to be, now fuel management is a little more important. We got the clocks out. We got the timers. I got the notes tab. We are specifically doing this strategically. We're going to time the tips, because we don't have a fuel totalizer. We don't know how much fuel it's burning. So we have to do it the old school way. So we know there's 17 gallons in the tip. So we're basically going to get the tip, just about as empty as we can, and then time how long that took to know how much we're burning.
Yep.
I think it's roughly 11, maybe slightly under 10.5 right now, since we're so high and have it leaned out pretty good. But we'll see. We'll update it once we do that math. To check it out, the right tip we ran basically to zero. It didn't start to sputter or anything, but I mean, it's basically at zero. So at most, there's probably like 1 gallon still out there in the tip. But let's say we used all 17. I was timing it. We went for an hour and 45 minutes, which is 1.75 hours, right? So 17, say we used it all, even though we probably only used 16, divided by 1.75. This calculates our fuel burn. Bam. 9.71 gallons per hour.
And the kicker is, check out the ground speed, 148 knots.
Bam.
at 9.7 gallons
So
per
you guys
hour.
can see that. Of course, we got a little push. Like we said, the tailwind's in our favors today. Finally, I've had enough headwinds. So you can't beat that. Under 10 gallons an hour, and we're going 170 miles an hour in the little Cherokee going over Moab, burning under 10 gallons an hour. I mean, that is awesome. The views are incredible, as you saw in that little cinematic edit. I mean, everywhere you look, it's just stunning. Scottsdale Tower, Cherokee 8694 Whiskey over Carefree with Quebec, inbound full stop.
8694 Whiskey, make left traffic, runway 3, squawk VFR.
Left traffic, runway 3, squawk VFR, 94 Whiskey.
Perfect. All right, so see the power lines? Follow them. Okay, you can hold right here.
At 4,500 feet.
Yep.
To 2,500 as soon as terrain permits for traffic.
No delay down to 2,500, 94 Whiskey.
Okay, go to 2,100 RPM.
Yeah.
Number 94 Whiskey, number 2, following a Cessna ahead, turning about a 2-mile left base.
Number 2 behind the Cessna, 94 Whiskey.
For Whiskey, follow them, your number 2, runway 3, clear to land.
Number 2, runway 3, cleared to land, 94 Whiskey.
About 2,100 RPM.
The base, number
Okay, let's go ahead and get the first notch of flaps in there.
922, runway 3, clear for takeoff, traffic says no 1 mile final.
Speed checks.
We got in runway. All right. I see him still.
Perfect. Okay, we're all lit up. We are cleared to land. Bring the power back. Let's keep bringing it back. Let me take the controls here.
All right.
Thanks.
I'm going to give us some S-turns. Tower 94 Whiskey, we might be gotten a little too close to traffic ahead. Can we do S-turns on final?
94 Whiskey, affirmative. You can do it to the right if you need to.
Roger, thanks. I'll give it back to you once we're on short final.
Yeah.
Okay, your controls.
All right, my controls.
Okay, we are clear to land.
All
Yep,
right.
just aiming right for that number. We're holding 90 miles an hour.
Yep, 90.
Yep, perfect. This is looking really good.
All right.
Yep, just aiming right for that runway 3 marker. Yep, just keep holding that 90. Then as we come down, we'll start rounding it out and pulling that power back. Yep, so keep that nose pointing towards the runway. Now slight pull up, pull up, pull up.
698.
Arrest the descent rate.
Never did see traffic.
Just pull up, pull up, pull up.
Take the 690,
All right, you got it,
clear to land,
you got it.
traffic landing roll will be no factor now.
Thanks for that.
You got it.
693.
Perfect.
All right.
Nice.
For 94 Whiskey, safe parking.
Go to transient.
94 Whiskey, you can turn left Alpha 7, contact ground point
Oh, yeah,
6.
break.
Left up 7 over to ground. 9 for Whiskey. See ya.
Turning.
Aviator 690, other side.
And you bounced up, so you had a little extra energy there.
Number 94 Whiskey Scottsdale Road, taxi parking via Alpha 6.
Alpha 6, 9 for Whiskey. See ya.
Nice job on those S-turns on final. The bias just enough time. Yeah, I cut the corner a little early. Oops.
Aviator
That's
40.
okay.
Guys,
All right.
we made it. All right. Landing needed a little work, but hey, I've never landed this thing. Like the Cirrus, it's definitely a little different.
You actually,
so
what's funny is you had a little bit of a tailwind too, so.
Oh, okay. So it's just.
Yeah, you did fine.
Okay, but yeah, we made the correction, and then we readjusted, and then we landed. I'll take it. But everything else was great. Let's pull the mixture, and bam.
She made it.
Oh my gosh.
Guys, I think that was the best post 6-hour flight bathroom break I've ever had. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how bad I had to go to the bathroom until I stood up. Still can't believe we made it in one go. Plenty of gas left, probably almost 25 gallons, definitely at least 20, so we had actually plenty of fuel. We could have gone to Mexico if we wanted to.
We lucked out so much having the entire west coast of the US be glassy smooth all of yesterday and today.
So every part of that flight was pretty perfect, except for my not perfect landing at the end, but that's okay.
Right.
Practice makes perfect. I've never done so much comms work in my life. That was so much radio work, and I think I'm definitely very improved in that department. I felt pretty comfortable there. Yeah, I learned a lot today. Enough of that. Comment down below what you think of the Cherokee 235. After that simple maintenance checkup on it with a couple things replaced, it has been dialed in. Not a single squawk. Before I forget, I have the Rolex here. I told you I'd unboxed on the video, right? So, little watch unboxing ASMR. Oh, what model is it gonna be? Oh my gosh, that box. Wow. All right, let's see if I can do this with one hand and not drop the watch. And the new watch we picked up was, bam, a classic, iconic, no date Submariner. I mean, come on, a modern ceramic bezel sub is just pretty iconic. You gotta have one of those. I have the two-tone bluesy sub. This is technically Jay's watch, but I was just doing him a favor picking it up. So anyway, there you have it. Precious cargo secured. And if you saw the shiny bracelet on my arm but didn't quite see the face, then there you go. Today we are rocking the Yachtmaster 40 with the rhodium dial and platinum bezel. Really cool. You don't see this watch too often, so I'm really happy to have this in the collection. Successful day in all regards. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What a roller coaster. You know, this video started out on a bad note with like, oh no, this thing broke, oil all over the engine bay. Oh no, our plane's broken forever. No, simple fix thanks to Cornerstone Aviation. They got it fixed up right, quickly, and for a great deal. So happy to have it back. We're gonna be flying it quite a bit until the Cirrus is done getting the new parachute installed. Ugh, drama, time, so much money on the parachute. Don't even get me started. But until then, this will be a great little plane to rip around, build some hours, do a little training before maybe the Cirrus is back. I still think I'd rather do training probably in the Cirrus. So we'll see what we do next with it. Keep it, sell it, I don't know. But for now, it's been a great airplane and we're gonna continue flying it quite a bit these next few weeks. So thank you guys for watching.